Good afternoon. I'm going to speak to you about Inflection resources. Inflection is focused on the discovery of very large copper-gold deposits in Australia. We've got two principal exploration initiatives, one being in New South Wales, Australia, where we've got a big partnership with AngloGold Ashanti, and we've also got more recently a large joint venture with, a large portfolio of properties in the Northern Territory of Australia as well. We'll be making a lot of forward-looking statements, so please bear in mind this is an exploration company. Just in terms of the basics, company has a market capitalization on Friday about 42 million, 114 million shares outstanding, and we've got strong institutional support in the form of Crescat Capital, Resource Capital Funds out of Denver, and AngloGold Ashanti, one of the world's largest gold mining companies. The management team is heavily invested with this company. We own about 23% of the stock. And the statistic I always love to quote is about 2/3 of the shares are held by 12 individuals or groups themselves. I won't dwell too much on the people, the specific people here, but it is a very technically driven story. It's very exploration focused. It's really about coming up with new ideas and interpreting what we can find here, looking for these big porphyries. The majority of the team have big experience in the major mining companies, a lot of senior leadership roles with Kinross, AngloGold, Newcrest, Newmont, Teck, Rio Tinto, Anglo American, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very heavily weighted towards the geologists. So what are we doing in New South Wales and specifically? The big mine in the belt is called Cadia. This is the flagship operation of Newmont. This is a major, world-class, long-life, low-cost operation mine, and it's got about 30 years of mine life ahead of it. So it produces about just under 500,000 ounces of gold a year, as well as a lot of copper. But it's a serious, world-class, underground, block cave copper mine operation. The other one in the belt is Northparkes. This is owned by Evolution Mining. This is a very large Australian mining company. It's a cluster of open pit, underground copper mines. These are what we call alkalic porphyry deposits. They're beautiful deposits to mine because of their nature. They're vertically extensive bodies, and they can be mined from underground as a block cave scenario. And then the third big deposit is Cow, also owned by Evolution Mining. This is a mixture of open pit and underground type deposits as well. It produces about 330,000 ounces of gold per year last year. So it's a big deposit. And in addition to this, there's a lot of other smaller mines as well, but it's a very well mineralized part of the world. So we're located about 4 hours drive west of Sydney, just to give you a sense of where we are. This is a belt of rocks called the Macquarie Arc, which is a north-south trending belt of rocks that is essentially an eroded chain of volcanoes. These are ancient rocks, so we're looking at the roots of essentially a volcanic chain. And you can sort of see the major deposits there, Cadia, Northparkes, and Cow. It extends over about 160 kilometers. And then the key point to note here is to the north, it disappears under a blanket of a younger sedimentary cover, masking the prospective geology. So the opportunity is what's going on to the north under that blanket of cover, and you can see there from the inset photograph, that's what it looks like. It's flat, featureless terrain with no outcrop. So how do you explore this covered terrain? Well, the government of New South Wales, to encourage investment in mining exploration, did us a great favor. They flew the entire state with a high-resolution geophysical survey, and it clearly demonstrated that the belt of rocks that host these giant mines to the south continues to the north under that blanket of sedimentary cover. And what we did, we extrapolated the geology to the south, underneath the cover, and in doing so, we identified at the time about 36 huge targets we considered analogous to these major mines located further to the south. And we've been systematically drill testing these targets over the last couple of years now. But we built a land position there. It's about 9,000 square kilometers. This is a huge piece of ground, all of which is 100% owned. To give you some sort of context, it takes about 2.5 hours just to drive from one end to the other on a paved highway. So it's a big, big land position extending over about 210 kilometers from north to south. So how do we go about exploring through this blanket of sedimentary cover? Well, we've taken a very systematic and disciplined approach. We typically drill very cost-effective holes through the blanket of sedimentary cover and just into the basement, and we're looking for key attributes associated with these big porphyry-type deposits in the form of favorable geochemistry or alteration or mineralization. So we do sort of a systematic approach, poking holes into all of these geophysical targets, and we're looking for these sort of vertically extensive porphyry bodies. So they're referred to as pencil porphyries in this part of the world due to their geometry. And you can sort of see the blanket of sedimentary cover there sitting on top of this, this prospective older geology. But the key is just trying to unravel the history here and trying to figure out where you are in this system. The key part of this is obviously funding. And a little bit of secret sauce here. We have a partnership with AngloGold Ashanti, who have been funding us now for a couple of years. They funded that first phase scout drilling program over the entire belt. We drilled over 50,000 meters with AngloGold, doing sort of scout drilling into those targets. We've just entered into what we call phase 2 of our agreement. AngloGold is elected to earn an interest in 4 individual projects within that greater portfolio. And there's a mechanism there where they've got to spend $7 million on each of the 4 projects to earn an initial 51%, and then an additional $20 million to get to 65%. And then the big one, to get to 75% interest, they've got to deliver a pre-feasibility study and issue Inflection either a 1 or 2% net smelter return royalty. So it's a fairly hefty agreement for an early stage exploration company, and it's worked very, very well for us. A key part of this as well is we get a 10% management fee for operating this joint venture on behalf of AngloGold. So that's negated the company had to go back to the market. We haven't raised capital for about 2.5 years now. So we're in great shape, and obviously very happy to be working with AngloGold. So I'll just focus on one of the projects that's really the focus of the immediate work going forward with AngloGold. This is our Trangie project. This is a project where we've identified porphyry-style mineralization already. Still fairly early stage. We've had a couple of encouraging intercepts, 54 meters at just under 0.4 grams per ton gold, but critically, we've hit the rocks with the right age, the right characteristics, the right geochemistry, and suggests we're in the right environment. So we're in the process of following that up right now. Last Monday, we announced a very small but high-grade intercept of 3 meters at just under 8 grams per ton in a brand new target. So this is a geophysical map. The warmer colors there represent high magnetic intensity, and that is located about 5.5 kilometers away from any previous drilling that we did. So it's a brand new little discovery. I know it's not huge right now, but we've just got one data point into this huge feature that's never ever been drill tested before. And that's a key part of this story here. These are brand new targets that have never ever been drilled. So we stake these things on open ground, and these are just being drill tested for the first time. But we've got a lot of projects. There's about 17,000 meters of drilling planned by AngloGold into this specific area. It's just announced an 83-hole program following up these intercepts, and that's going to commence here about the end of February right now. In addition to that, we've got a number of other projects which we'll be drilling ourselves in New South Wales with cheap, cost-effective drilling in and around this area as well. Switching gears just very briefly, I'm going to move up to the Northern Territory. This is a recent acquisition by the company. So what we call our Endurance project. This is a large portfolio of properties we acquired from Newmont. These were targets that were generated by Newcrest Mining, who did a country-scale targeting exercise looking for large-scale copper deposits. Newcrest and Newmont merged last year, or the year before now, I guess, and these assets became available, and we were aware it became available, so we acquired these projects for some equity and a 1% royalty. But we're up in the far northern Australia, just south of Darwin. For those of you who know that part of the world, about 5 hours south of Darwin. These are very, very large, what we call iron oxide copper gold deposits. Again, received only cursory drilling. It's a huge land position, over 4,500 square kilometers of ground. Again, all 100% owned by the company. We're going to be poking some holes into these things later in the year here, but these are very big, complex, high priority targets that we're very excited to be drill testing for the first time. And then just to wrap up, really we're looking for giant copper gold deposits, really true tier 1 scale targets. These are giant features that have never been drilled, We've got a big partnership with AngloGold that provides a lot of the funding for what we're doing, and it's an amazing partnership over four projects in New South Wales. Everything I've talked about here, 100% owned. There's no underlying deals or payments to be made to anybody. Very simple, clean story. And we're aggressively drilling. We've got a lot of drilling ahead of us in New South Wales, both with AngloGold, some of our projects, which I didn't really get into just now, and then also in the Northern Territory here, which we're going to start drilling there later in the year as well. So it's a lot of drilling ahead, and I'll be very excited to be talking about that over the coming months. Thank you very much.